Sheila here with Sirius Talisman. This is Mars, our Mercury day, and the midheaven is with Venus in Leo. Mars is 1 degree away from squaring Jupiter, which is usually an onset of a religious war. And the symbols were amassing, okay? The symbols were amassing. Now, Mars in Libra is about representation, but also one of the most, I think, extreme manifestations that I've seen of this square was because I live in Israel and this is Epstein land. We are more aware of the nuanced social engineering on time. And to be very honest, I was not aware of that. I did not know the peace sign is double agent, which of course I never consented to, and I'm not a double agent, and so on and so forth, which can be seen by a trained person. Because I opened this morning, those who work underneath gloved hand malevolently are gonna get caught red-handed, and the way that this occult works is that the people will actually have to tend to what caused the problem to set the boundary. But one of the really extreme manifestations that I saw was an argument about those nuances of the mockingbirds of trafficking that try to normalize trafficking that some people got, some people didn't get. And then one lady was survivor of human trafficker, so she had no idea who I am, and she started with the entire but I'm a survivor of human trafficker preaching. So of course I say, well, I bless you to have, safe life and so on and so forth. So that's more important than to argue over who is right. Kind of like, hey, that person survived something horrid. And then she still had something to say because I talked about satanic ritual abuse, and she said that she is a pagan working with the Goetia. And that was more important to her, and she still emphasized, oh, that this validates real victims of abuse, which was like, and ended up with, hey, some people need therapy. And I'm like, I live in fucking Israel. People use therapy to kidnap and traffic children for Epstein, together with the welfare, to do satanic ritual abuse, to do extortion cults in the entire world, unfortunately. And I'm like, damn, what's happening today? Because that person cared more about Satan not being slandered than actual, than human trafficking not to happen under any guise or any god. So I look up the chart and I'm like, of course Mars is squaring Jupiter. The symbolisms a mess. Like everywhere we go we have this religious war. And again, Mars is actions and justice. So there's a tension between action and justice, and the fact that these actions were done in the name of many religions, spiritualities, and ideologies. Okay, I'm an astrologer. Some people used astrology and astrological magic to harm innocent people. This is why when I tend to the underneath gloved hands and I said they're gonna get caught red-handed, I tend to that. I don't expect people to not just say, well, astrologers, those are the people that practice witchcraft, and say, oh, there's no such thing, you're discrediting real victims of abuse now. Like, no, there are some people who do dumb fuckery in every religion, in every sect, in every practice, and I totally agree with you that people won't have faith in those practices and professions until that gets annihilated. So what we're tending to is the all-encompassing effect of child trafficking and ritual abuse of children, whether indigenous or not. So Venus in Leo has to do again with those topics, trafficking codes and so on. Sun 11 degrees Virgo and Mercury Regulus squaring Uranus, which gets people to say, it liberates the speech, so to speak. Okay? It's like, hey, if something needed to be said, it's gonna be said. And like I said, when people caught red-handed, nobody will be able to set a boundary to a person that's still dealing with human trafficking and satanic ritual abuse. Okay? Because if a person said, hey, I'm not going to attack innocent people like that networks want, then, okay, you can't blame shift. You can't say, oh, this person got caught red-handed. No, they didn't. Oh, but why there are of course there are implications. If you did something underneath gloved hands to traffic people or to contribute to trafficking of people, then you got caught red-handed. One lovely thing I saw was a woman wearing a sleeveless shirt, walking free on the beach with her hair flying in the wind, saying, Azizam, come to Iran. So the first thought I had was like, hey, that's so good that Israel bombed certain segments of Iran, because they will never have such Irani hasbara. And now they have to own up to it, because if people go and they go with their Instagram and YouTube and so on, and they say, well, it's like North Korea. No, they have to own up to it. And I said, well, maybe Iran needs to bomb a couple of real estate that's Epstein-like trafficking, so we can all from the river to the sea dance safe and free. Now, because the eclipse has to do with Elam, shout out to Crasia Tasio, Elam has to do with Iran, Iraq, and all the region there. What the Kahanist called Eretz Israel Shlema. I have to admit, as a person who lives in Israel, okay, I'm half Israeli, half Dutch. There's no housing in Netherlands. It's only human trafficking. So I somehow had housing in Israel for a while. They constantly try to traffic my family. Constantly. My parents divorced, and constantly they try to traffic. They had to go to their parents to ask for support, until eventually they couldn't even keep the house, because in every workplace, every this, every that, just trafficking. Terrible, terrible situation in Israel. Kind of like a developed country that is running on the ethics of a developing country. Then I tried to move out of the house. I don't know what these folks work with Epstein or something at that more 90 in Arad, Israel. So what it comes to this is, as a resident, when people would say, oh, your country has imperialist aspirations, I was like, yeah, there are some couple of people that have weird opinions, but all in all, like, people say, come back to Europe. I'm like, there's no housing in Europe. There's no, if you don't do human trafficking, there is no housing for you. Even as a resident, I think Dutch people still waiting for There's this guy that wants to deport Moroccans, but he'll also have to deport the... How do you say satanic lodges without saying satanic lodges? They're always Catholic or something. um, Femicide going in Netherlands, come on. I mean, the land where you can be who you are, but being Twain, was murdered for being gay. Catholic gay, Masonic Catholic gay, but gay. By Dutch activist, 33 years old. The 33 degree, like the years of Jesus, like the Masonic number. Animal rights activist. Because they treat people like pets, but that guy was Masonic too, so I don't know what I'm... That's the land where, like, you know, you thought you could have, like, you could be who you are. So it is religious war o'clock, and the fact that they use orthodoxy to traffic people. Because let's say the Haredis do that, the Muslims do that, the Mormons do that, other religions very likely as well. They would try to get people to convert or to be more religious, so they traffic them, and then they kidnap and they traffic people, and then in that Haredi, in Bnei Brak, in Arad, then it's less comfortable for people to talk about them being trafficked or them being raped, because it seems like, oh, it's no respect, no this, no that, no, because the child rapist has a lot of respect. It's kavod av. Why did I get Abba Evan? Let's see. Who was Abba Evan? Diplomat. That means he worked with Epstein. Okay. But why? Number one diplomat. I don't know. I got Abba Evan. Maybe we'll have something from a pie. Weizmann for science, but I don't know what was he doing there. He was managing there, but what science? It was the Ministry of Exterior Affairs. And that was during the embargo in Israel, the military embargo. Not 2025 military embargo, but the other one. um, okay. Yom Kippur War. I don't know. Didn't like Rabin. He wanted to have a territorial compromise with the Palestinians. Ah, that's the guy that said that the Palestinians never miss a chance to miss a chance. Well, that entire, you know, Democide manufactory is kind of like Eretz Israel Shlema versus from the river to the sea. It looks like the market when you bargain in the market. Okay, that's the two-state solution. Okay, so the satire about him. Oh, they were joking about uh, his level of English. It was high level of English because it sounded like British. That's what they wanted to say. Okay, I don't know. Oh, it was inbred with Herzog. That's my joke. Maybe that joke is real. Something to do with the war in cancer, which means they spread some cancer and try to fight it. And so, um, okay, so diplomacy. This is one of the pillars of Israeli diplomacy and hasbara. But then they were talking about two-state solution, and now they're talking about, I don't know what they're talking about. Nobody knows what they're talking about. But if the party that told us to put Zion in the Kalpi and before 7th October, Zion is the seventh letter, it correlates with the number 7, also with the penis, but they use it for rape rituals. Um, they wanted to cancel the welfare, so disabled people will have to traffic people or be trafficked. So yeah, we've went a long way since Abba Evan, but we've went to Tkufata Evan, which means the Stone Age. And indeed, some things that were set in stone, like buildings, hospitals in Israel as well, are bombed. Um, to rejuvenate what is set in stone. I don't know. As you can see, Mars in Libra, justice, balance, diplomacy, square in Jupiter in 18 degrees Cancer, toxic beliefs about people, nationalities, um, and the moon is in the prepper's deacon of Capricorn. So, and Saturn is in the end of Pisces, reality check on spiritual ideation, particularly when related to nation state. Moon in Capricorn is the structure of the people, which means the nation state in modern times. Um, yeah, that's what comes up.